Hey everybody, Jonathan Mudd here, posting up with episode number 6 of Down the Rabbit Hole, where I'm digging into the songs from my new album, Meant for the Sun. Today we're going to go deep on a cover song. It's called Mate Kudasai, and it was originally recorded by the legendary progressive rock band King Crimson.
When was the night so long, like the no time sending? She waits in the air, Mate Kudasai.
Now you may think I chose to cover a King Crimson song because I'm trying to capitalize on the recent very exciting news that a version of King Crimson is going to be touring later this year. If you haven't heard, Adrian, Belew, and Tony Levin, who were part of the great 1980s King Crimson lineup, have formed a new band called Beat, and they'll be joined by guitar god Steve Vai and Danny Carey, the drummer from Tool. Now, I'm very pumped about all this. I happened to see King Crimson 40 years ago today, June 30th, 1984, when they played at the Merriweather Post Pavilion in Maryland. And I've got tickets to see Beat when they come to Charleston later this fall. I assure you, I'm delighted by the serendipitous timing of this Beat tour, and I welcome any attention that might rub off on my cover of Mate Kudasai. But the fact is, I've always loved this song, and I've always wanted to try it. Mate Kudasai was on King Crimson's great 1981 album, Discipline. If you recall, that was really kind of the beginning of the post-punk new wave era. The Police, Duran Duran, The Clash, ABC, The Cure, they all had big albums out at the time. King Crimson had been around since 1969 and had a reputation as a very experimental progressive rock band, a far cry from the new wave that was on the airwaves. But like Peter Gabriel and Kate Bush, who also had big records out at the time, Discipline had a slick contemporary sound to it. So even though musically it was out there, sonically it fit quite well with what was happening, especially on college radio. My version of Mate Kudasai doesn't sound a thing like the original. The chords and the lyrics and the melody are the same, but that's pretty much where the similarities end. I've always felt like doing covers is kind of a slippery business. On the one hand, you choose the song because you love it. You're paying homage to it in some way, and you respect the songwriter by sticking pretty close to the original. On the other hand, the song's already been done, right? What's the use in repeating it, especially if you're going to record it? I feel like you got to bring something new to the party. And that's kind of what I tried to do with my version of Mate Kudasai. To me, the most striking thing about Mate Kudasai is the vocal melody, especially when it shifts from major to minor. I really wanted to focus on that aspect of the song. So I decided to do it straight and very unprogressive, almost like a folk song. The original plan was just acoustic guitar and voice, like this.
She waits in the air, Mate Kudasai. She sleeps in a chair in her sad America.
Mate Kudasai means wait please in Japanese. I really have no idea what the song is about. Adrian Belew's lyrics are gauzy and impressionistic. I love the image of the old woman sitting in the chair by the window. And there's something about that sad America line that just seems poignant, especially today.
Greetings, 21st century schizoid people. I hope I'm not being too bold, but I want to encourage you all to listen to Jonathan Mudd's new album, Meant for the Sun. It's on Spotify, Amazon, Apple Music, iTunes, and you can purchase it at mudmusic.com. I've decided I'm not going to go on tour with my old mates in Beat later this year because I plan to stay home with my bizarro wife and listen to Meant for the Sun.
I liked my original recording with just acoustic guitar and voice, but as the rest of the Meant for the Sun album came together, I decided I probably better flesh it out a little bit so it would fit in with the rest of the songs. I definitely wanted to keep the song spare and earthy, but maybe to bring some atmospherics to it. I thought drums would be way too heavy-handed, but maybe some hand percussion would be cool. My good friend Chuck Sullivan agreed. Chuck is a great, great drummer and a stalwart of the DC music community. Has been since the 1980s when he had his bands Big Yankee Dollar and the New Keys. He plays regularly still with Soul Crackers, a super cool R&B soul band in the area. Chuck was the drummer in my band, The Powers That Be, and he was an invaluable recording partner when I was putting together my Reanimate record a few years ago. He's got his own record out now. It's called Behind the Mask. It's full of terrific songs and terrific performances and great drumming. Chuck recorded 5 or 6 different percussion tracks for Mate Kudasai. Chimes, kabasa, conga, brush hit snares, cymbals. It all brought a pulse to the song, but also some really cool, spacey atmospherics. Now, as much as I wanted to keep my version of Mate Kudasai kind of folky, I couldn't help but be drawn to the progressive pull of King Crimson's original. So ultimately, I kind of decided to lean into that contradiction. To underscore the folk side, I brought in another mate from the Powers That Be, pedal steel guitarist Buddy Griffin. And then, for the progressive vibe, I was able to reconnect with a dear old friend from the West Coast, Seattle guitarist Jon Preuss, who played not only some really neat jazzy block chords, but a cool EBow part that melded perfectly with what Buddy is doing on the pedal steel. I want you to hear the beautiful ensemble playing of Buddy Griffin on pedal steel, Jon Preuss on electric guitar, Chuck Sullivan on percussion, and Andrew Luthringer on bass. Well, folks, there it is. My interpretation of King Crimson's Mate Kudasai. I sure hope Beat does that tune when they tour later this year. Thanks for watching this episode of Down the Rabbit Hole. I really appreciate you watching these videos. If you're a subscriber, thank you. If you're not, think about hitting the button below and becoming a subscriber. It will not hurt. I'll be back soon with another installment of Down the Rabbit Hole, and we'll dig into another track from my new album, Meant for the Sun.
Yeah, she sleeps in a chair in her cell.